The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal Big Footy rules still apply.
Alright, so this is the Flogcast for round 17. Fyfie joined by Dan.
Hello.
Teach.
Hello.
And the only Hawk brave enough to show up, NetworkNerd.
G'day, guys.
Oh, you brave champion. And we knew that you would be the one that would turn up to work. Because all of your friends, they're a bunch of weak pricks.
The Goo Squad.
Yeah, Goose Squad. Wankers.
Goose Squad's been renamed. Okay. The Goose Squad now contains Jaden and Black Flag and Burnt Chook.
So not even Hawthorn supporters, though?
Don't you argue with the logic of Bombers 2003, okay?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Bayer? Oh, Bayer's in there. There's a Hawk for you. And Cruise Missile.
Look, Network is a champion, and he's turned up for the good and he's turned up for the bad. So we love him, and welcome back. And Penal,
And say hi to us.
you wanker.
Anyway, we will start with Friday night because it was the result of the week. It was post the game of the week. And as much as it was an upset, was anyone surprised?
No?
Me?
You thought Norf wouldn't turn up against a good team?
I didn't think we'd beat Hawthorn.
Did anyone think Petrie was going to knock Hawthorn out of the finals?
Oh. Not only has he knocked them out, he's knocked them out for 2 years now.
Nah, isolated incident. It's only 1 year.
Is it? Okay.
It was on early.
Season to season.
You could
predictor.
tell it was on early, and it was like, I thought, oh, fuck, he goes schizophrenic north again. They're going to beat someone, who is a top contender. And they did it again.
I said it last week, they were mentally weak, and that still applies because this is a team that turns up against the good sides, but they go into their shell against the shits. They are every chance to lose to St Kilda this week.
And won't it be glorious if they do? It would just be...
No, it wouldn't.
Well, for
Are
every
you
rest of
fucking
us
kidding? No one's going to lose against St Kilda for the rest of the year.
Only North can.
Smash them.
Yeah, Teach, don't go there. This is North. North this year. Last year it was giving up three-quarter time leads. This year it's being the most inconsistent team basically ever.
Well, after the final siren went, I ran back to the bandwagon,
Oh.
and it was
dead.
like, it was like,
No, you destroyed the bandwagon. You can't just jump on and off like this.
no. The bandwagon, it was just wrecked. But I managed to jumpstart it again, and I gave CPR to Royals and CPR to Quixote, and I got them back to life, and the bandwagon is up and running again. I can't promise you how far it can go, and I
Before you
can't
kill it
promise
again.
you when I can jump off it again. But at least I rescued two people, and I got the wagon running again.
Oh, jeez.
It makes sense that the bandwagon is driven by someone so flaky. That's apt, I think. But
What do we think of Lake?
I would get 2, 3.
If he's going to choke Petrie, he should have done it before he kicked the first 2 goals. Before he knocked them out of the finals.
he had, yeah, he's probably gone, you prick, you just killed our season. But no, the funny thing is Petrie's been offered a reprimand because he actually stuck the finger in the eye before the choke.
Yeah, but
And they had the
Blake's
footage
been
of it on
sent.
360.
He's been sent right to the tribunal.
Oh, so
I know.
what was
but
he?
could he argue defence?
What was he supposed to do if he's getting choked?
He wasn't getting choked when he first stuck the finger in the eye. There's
Yeah.
actual footage of it before when he's still got the hand around the back but not on the front of his
Yeah,
throat.
but
It's on
wasn't the
ground.
cut under the eye on the other side of the face?
He still stuck the finger in the eye on the left side.
Yeah, there's only one person who's backing up Lake, and that is Dermot. And and everyone has just been in his face and telling him what a fuckwit he is. So,
Who, Dermot or Lake?
no, in Dermot's face,
Okay.
saying, shut the fuck up. You got no idea. He's going down. I reckon he'll get 4 down to 3.
Well, well,
It's concerning for Hawthorn because, they do have a reasonably tough run. Admittedly, the 2 easiest of their games are in the next 3 weeks, I believe, with the Bulldogs and Melbourne.
no, we've got Adelaide, then Sydney.
Oh, then Bulldogs and Melbourne. Sorry.
Yeah, so
it's a rough fortnight.
Yeah, well, really, I mean, we've got a really tough run home. Just those 2 games against Bulldogs and Melbourne, which we should win. So we're only on 11 wins at the moment. So, maybe
Yeah, you
Drew
got
Petrie
the Cats
has
later
stopped.
on in the year, which you're going to lose.
And the bad news is Adelaide are just like Norf.
Well, over there, I'm not very confident, but if we're fair dinkum this year, we'll knock Adelaide over. But yeah, be tough run home.
What else do we have on that game? Anything else?
You know what? I left that game just thinking, meh, but I should have been over the moon. But because of last week,
More questions than answers?
Exactly. So we'll see what they show this week.
Just to a point that Kinnear Park made, should Clarko have come back through the VFL?
Oh, he copped a bit of stick after the game. There were supporters yelling at him saying, bring back, what's that guy's name?
Bolton.
Bolton,
Bring back
yeah.
Mr. Happy.
Yeah.
That guy's no.
Smiles Bolton. Did Clarko threaten any of them?
Nah, but clearly North were far more hungrier when they just from the onset of the game. They wanted it a lot more than Hawthorn, so good on them. And
they were hungry because Dermy bloody pumped up gave Del Santo and
Harvey
a whacking during the week. Called him selfish and lazy.
We've had a number of surprising results, and that's what tends to happen in this period of the year when it's winter, when the weather conditions are not conducive.
This was at the Dome Teach.
The roof was closed. That's why North won.
I guess so. Yes.
It was just a very, very strange result in so many ways, but they played well, and let's see if they keep it up. Anything else, or
no, move on to next week, I think.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Just suck a fat one, Hawthorn.
we'll go to the next big significant game of the round was the Suns might have just booked their first finals spot potentially. It all hinges on whether they can win without Gaza for about 6 weeks.
That was a brave win.
Well,
Wait, is that real brave or Essendon brave?
No, real brave.
Okay.
for them
They
to
had
win,
no one on the bench.
yeah, no one on the bench and Ablett severely injured. That was fantastic for them. But, I mean, not to take anything away from Collingwood, because Collingwood are not the side that they were a couple of years ago. So they've got a number of young players who were just not used to that kind of pressure cooker environment. And Gold Coast have matured, and they're coming, and they won it, and good luck to them.
Yeah, Clinton Young.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, you'd have to be laughing your ass off at that network. That he's no longer a Hawthorn player,
Well,
and he's gone and asked it.
Maybe, unlike the Geelong people, he's not a complete prick who, goes, Ablett left, Maybe he's got some goodwill.
Who are you fucking talking about there, fight?
Just Geelong supporters as a whole. Not you, of course, because you were going to stick it up anyone who badmouthed Ablett.
no, but back on Clinton Young, he has had a pretty good year. I think he kicked 2 goals in the first quarter, and I thought, we let him go for nothing. But that drop mark, that's incredible. That's embarrassing.
That was pretty terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't know what happened. I didn't watch that game. And then I get on the bay, and there's all these threads about, Clinton Young. I'm going, wonder what he did. And then I watch the highlights, and as you said, he kicked 2 goals in the first half. I go, looks like he had a pretty good game. And then there's the mark. And, oh, God. How do you fuck that up?
It's pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, you got to say that Gold Coast, they've done everything that they needed to do. I mean, it's going to be interesting from now because Ablett's going to be out for at least 4 weeks. So can they hang on to their spot in the 8? Can they make a real contest in the finals? This is it. But it's a building point for them.
With their next 4 weeks and the draw Collingwood have ahead of them, the Gold Coast could host the final.
Well, how about that? And if they do that, and if they can win a final, and then they can get to a semi-final, that's going to be a massive step for them.
Especially once they, go past Hawthorn, who are going to miss the 8 now.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And Geelong too.
Fuck off.
And
Yes.
Freo.
Actually, we haven't talked about Freo yet. Freo have got the laziest fixture of all of the top 8 teams. So it's not without doubt that they could actually finish first. And then what?
That's very plausible.
Let's hope not. And do not even acknowledge their game over the weekend.
We will
No.
discuss it for a couple of reasons.
No.
Anything else on Gold Coast versus Collingwood?
Other than it was a really good game to watch, it was a really good game.
Do we think Ablett's still going to win the Brownlow?
Probably, yeah. Even if he misses, even if he doesn't play for the rest of the year, he's a massive chance to still win it.
It depends what Pendlebury and Kennedy do for the rest of the year, I think.
Fair call.
We'll move on to the third big result of the week, which was, the Portress. Not quite the Portress anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Drunkos beat him.
Lost 3 out of the last 4, so that's a bit of a mid-season slump for those guys. And our mate Amstaff, he decided to go to Thailand, but then he didn't really go to Thailand. So, but apparently he deflected all the attention away from Port. So the whole AFL community was concentrated on his thread. So good job, Amstaff. Yeah.
Maybe he just went to a sunshine.
He did his bit for the team. He took the meltdown.
Yep. Look, that should be back. They should still make top 4, but was it a 5-way or 4-way tie for second? So
Watching that game, they didn't actually put in the proper effort till the second half. The intensity was so down from them in the first half.
yeah.
And they turned it on the second half, but they were giving up a 4-goal lead, and they weren't executing well when they had the ball. So they were lucky to get there, particularly with that free kick, which, that would have been hilarious if Essendon lost on the back of that Monfries rundown, but wasn't to be.
I reckon they've hit a wall, Port Adelaide. I think that they're going to lose more games than we think that they are going to. So it'll be interesting how they recover from this. If they can bounce back and win more games than we think that they will, then they're a real chance. But if they don't, they could fall out of the top 4 and not win again.
Just looking at their run home, they've got Freo in WA, Gold Coast in Gold Coast. They've got to play Sydney, Collingwood. So, yeah, for sure, they can easily drop out.
And the Portress ain't no fortress no more.
That's it.
That's a dirty run home. So I hope they do because, I quite like Port, but if they don't, then tuck a fat one.
Well, at least if they do struggle like that, Amstaff's thread's going to be redundant about accommodation Victoria in late September.
Yeah.
Well, he could stay at my place, but I'm going to charge him $500 a night.
Anything else on that? You wanted to touch on the umpiring because we've touched on it a few times, but it summed up how it is at the moment.
This week it's been really, really bad, and that everyone knows about it. I don't know who it was who was running into goal for Port Adelaide and he got pulled down, and it should have been dropping the ball. They allowed the ball to spill and then kick it on and get a goal. That was just ridiculous. But overall, the whole umpiring across the weekend was really, really poor. What does everyone else think about that?
I didn't watch the game.
Holding the ball's
crook and bad.
Holding the ball's been fucked all year. The easiest decisions in the world to pay are both holding the ball ones. The one when the guy gets run down from behind and the one when the ruckman grabs it out of the ruck. They're the two easiest decisions because you see it and you know it. Mm. And for some reason that wasn't paid.
I'll agree with you, but I think the umpiring's pretty good when it comes to Carlton games.
That got and St Kilda. That goes without saying.
Yep.
Now the umpiring in the Geelong Bulldogs game was pretty crap, and Chris Scott at least was able to hold his tongue.
Well, that's rare for a Scott brother.
And say that because there was...
I heard he had a Hulk moment and smashed the table in the coach's box.
Oh, yeah, there was some shit umpiring in that game. But at least he didn't go over the top and just rag on people after the game. And what he said was, because there are so many players around the ball these days, and it's just such a rolling maul, the umpires can't get a clear view as to what's happening. So it's really, really hard for them to give an accurate call as to what's happening on the ball.
Yeah, but you've got more than one umpire looking at the scrimmage, though.
Yeah. But what he said was, it's like it's going to be more and more difficult for them to make the right decisions. So there's going to be more and more mistakes because there's this more of a contested pack of like 20 plus players around the ball, and you can't blame the umpires for that.
But yes, you can't, but it's not, at the same time, it's not hard to get that Monfries one right. Like, you can make all the excuses in the world, but there are plenty of similar ones to that, and the only reason that one gets highlighted is because it directly led to a goal. There are plenty like that each game, and they're the ones where, because the player doesn't swing his arm around to make it look like he's trying to get rid of it, that get pinged when he had absolutely no chance, and they pay it because he's not flailing like a rugby player, as we mentioned the other week. It's
exactly.
Absurd. But anything else on Port versus Essendon? Well, Essendon all of a sudden, and the Crows, they're just making it a little bit iffy on the likes of Collingwood and the likes of, well, Norf if they lose to St Kilda, Geelong and Hawthorn as well. Maybe this is how they're going to miss out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Essendon could possibly take a place, as could Adelaide. I think they're the only two outside of the 8 that can take a place, and it's possibly going to be at the expense of Collingwood and or Gold Coast.
Looking at Gold Coast draw, even though Ablett's gone, their next 4 weeks are very, very, very nice. They will win all 4. They've got St Kilda, Carlton, Melbourne and the Bulldogs, I believe. So three of which are at home. Sorry, 3 of which are in Queensland. The Bulldogs is an away game in Cairns.
So it sounds like there's only one team that can get in. So it's...
No, because once Geelong miss out, because of the...
Shut up, Ed. We're not going to lose nothing this year.
All right, let's go to... Well, all of a sudden the Kohlers are on top of the ladder. They played in the wet. It was...
Bit of a shit game, but they did what they needed to do away from home. So there's no doubting them and their credentials. At this stage, they haven't yet hit a flat spot. So maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who knows? But, top of the ladder. Can't doubt them right now.
And, well, it's going to be more important than any other year to have home finals. Admittedly, fortunately for everyone playing Sydney, they will have to play them out at Homebush on the bigger ground. But you want the home final, and it seems they're going to lock it in. West Coast were in the game, but just got it done. Got nothing on that. Yeah. It's pretty boring. It was wet.
They won as you would expected them, so they just got the job done.
We'll go to Cats, Dogs. Anything?
Well, we got fucked by the umpires.
What about the fucking goal review that was Lonergan given that? He didn't touch that.
It didn't look like he touched it, no. But they got it on the reverse when Mitch Duncan was held onto and didn't get the holding on decision. And
so you're equating a fucked up goal review to a stock standard holding the man that gets missed every week.
This would not get missed every single week because it was fucking out there for everyone to see, and then he snapped it around the corner and got a goal. So I thought that was even Stevens for that.
See, Plugger, this is how you overcome the umpire.
But the fucking free kick count was double to the Bulldogs. It was bullshit. The free kick count was absolutely bullshit in the wet. Double to the Bulldogs, half to the Cats. So, whinge all you like. Geelong were the far better side and deserved to win, and they did.
You guys got a pretty good crowd there, even despite the weather. I mean, watching a bit of the coverage, what was the actual crowd? Was it 30,000.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
we had quite a few people sitting in the rain. It's quite interesting.
Did you go teach?
Teach.
There's no trains running down there on Sunday, were there?
It takes me an hour and a half to get there, so no, I didn't go.
Oh, no. Regulation win for Geelong. Nothing. I haven't got anything more to say on my end.
No. Not
Neither do I.
They get my money whether or not I turn up or not.
No, but they expect you to be there. You're their Keyring Hall of Fame member.
Can you imagine if everybody did that, teach? There'd be no one there.
Yeah. And you're the teach. People look up to you, man.
Yeah, what are the cheer squad going to do without you?
I've actually seen a number of the cheer squad people over the... Oh,
Good-looking sorts, teach.
they're fucking... They are fucking dinosaurs. There are some crazy fuckers who sit in the cheer squad down there.
Anything else on Geelong Bulldogs?
No, we deserve to win. Fuck Bulldogs.
Since, NetworkNerd attended this game, St Kilda Carlton. St Kilda just about spoon certainties after, getting outscored by 70 points in the second half by Carlton.
Oh,
What happened in the second quarter, though?
St Kilda came back and had all the momentum, and then,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, they got a bit of a run.
You
on
were
the second
there,
quarter,
Network.
but yeah,
Stop interrupting him.
my wife's a Carlton member, so she's got a couple more games on her 3-game membership. So I said to her, "Oh, that's probably the only game you're actually going to win." So we ended up going, but terrible game. But at 3/4 time, we decided we started heading down. We were just sitting in general admission, and we went down to the first level, and we thought, we'll just go in the standing room area, see what the crowd's like. And we make fun of Sydney. We say like, "God, they don't know the players," or they just say, "Oh, good work, number 23," or whatever. But I was standing there, and there was these old Carlton supporters. I thought, they would know their team pretty well. Oh, good work, number 15. Good work, number 15. I'm thinking, well, who's number 15 for Carlton? I don't know. Mr. Guy, it's Sam Doherty. Oh, that's fair enough. I mean, unknown player. But then, Troy Menzel, absolute gun. You think you'd know number 2.
He's a good player, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And they're like, and I think he hurt his shoulder or something. And they're like, oh, number 2 hurt his shoulder. Poor number 2. Poor shoulder. He's hurt his shoulder. I'm thinking, gee, how can these guys not even know their own players? It's just
It's understandable. Malthouse doesn't know them either.
He doesn't, or
he's a bit old and he's a bit forgetful.
Yeah, but yeah, there's these 3 old Carlton supporters just going off, and I think
So Network, I mean, your wife's team got up. Did you
teach.
get any special action after that?
and you keep asking me this every time, man.
He wants to watch.
He asks everyone similar stuff every week. It's just like,
Well, yeah,
It's his
she
thing.
pretty much fell asleep on the train on the way home. So yeah.
Oh.
hey,
That's
teach.
hopeless, mate.
At least he caught the train, okay?
But yeah, boring game. Yeah.
In other words, judging by your account of that game, the crowd was more interesting than the spectacle.
Pretty much, yeah. We're just looking at how the crusty old Carlton supporters were reacting, but yeah.
St Kilda let Casbolt kick 4 goals. If Casbolt's kicking 4 goals, he's marking them 10 metres out. So, that's a fair indictment on them. They will win the spoon. They need to win 2 more games to avoid it. Won't happen.
Oh, dear.
At least they'll have a number 1 draft pick.
What's that, number 27?
Kill.
27 for who?
Are you a Carlton supporter? Don't know them.
Is that spoon number 27? Or
Oh,
28?
Spoon, yes. Yeah, it would be, 27.
Yes, spoon
Lot of
number
spoons.
27. Which is, well, we could probably go through a list of clubs that combined have less spoons than that.
Well, I reckon you could wrap up the rest of the league, and it wouldn't add up to that.
Actually, now that I think about it, let's see how long's the league been going. Ooh, 1 more spoon next year, and I think their spoon to years in existence ratio will outstrip the Gold Coast's,
Holy shit.
because the Suns have only won the 1 spoon. Yeah, and that'll be 5 years. So, yeah, that's pretty damning. Nothing else on that game?
Nah.
No, it was rubbish.
We'll move on to the dullness in Darwin.
Next.
Oh, that was fucking shit, that game.
I'm wondering who watched this game. It's almost like the tree
No.
falling in the woods. If anyone hears
No.
it, did it really happen?
My eyeballs deserve better. No.
Wait, you watched that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was...
No, what it
Who
came
would?
down to, only Fremantle Melbourne supporters watched it, and
I doubt anyone was satisfied at the end.
no, it would have been just ridiculously
Well, luckily I was
shit.
crook in bed, so I just looked at the scores on my phone. I'm thinking, oh god.
You were pleased to be sick at that point, weren't
That
you?
was the only time I was happy to be sick. Yes.
But yes, games played north of, well, Brisbane are generally pretty poor spectacles with this dew and the sweaty players. And
But when you get the two lowest scoring teams
yes,
together,
you get the
Yeah,
two
you
most
know,
defensive
most of them
teams. It's going to be
involve Melbourne.
horrid.
You know, most of them just involve Melbourne.
Yeah, well, whose bright idea was it to send Fremantle to a place where no one can pick the ball up cleanly? That's just Ross Lyon's probably going, this is amazing. He probably requested it. Like,
I'm glad I didn't watch it because I would have rather have taken my face off with a cheese grater.
can the AFL do us a favour next year and not have Melbourne and Freo play each other?
Yeah.
No. It's a perfect Sunday twilight game. Or
No, it's perfect just to not play them at all. Period. Together.
Yeah, well, maybe they just need to let them play at Patterson's so that there's a Sunday twilight game.
yeah, play him in the time slot when no one else is watching.
No one's going to watch. Yeah, that's what we.
But we will move on to, if that's everything on that. That's probably spoke about it too much. But
Yeah,
as
too
Dan
much.
said, Fremantle, or Teach said, Fremantle's draw. They're creeping up to a top position, which is concerning, like Geelong's youth. Richmond, well, I said we'd ski over Brisbane. We didn't quite ski over them, but we beat them reasonably
Did you
comfortably.
go, Fyfie?
Of course I went. I'm not Teach.
Oh, well done.
But Tyrone Vickery plays one of those games that makes you go, you want him dropped
Yeah,
most
didn't
weeks,
he?
and then he pulls one of those out.
Well, that's his quota, isn't he? He only plays one or two of those sort of games a year.
Yeah, he actually plays a few more than that. It's just the problem with Vickery is not that he doesn't play games that are good. It's that he plays so many that are putrid. Like, he'll have those games where he'll hardly get a kick, and when he does, he fucks everything up. But he'll actually play these games where he gets on the board and kicks, 2 or 3 or 4, and I reckon
He was very good.
He's good. He's good when he gets the ball
He
early.
didn't actually take cheapies. He actually won the football in contested possessions.
And this is the first and only time I think I'll ever compare him to Matthew Richardson. But it reminds me of Richo's Brownlow year when they played him on the wing. He still kicked as many goals as he normally does, but because it was unpredictable that he was dropping forward, he got more space and he didn't get triple teamed or whatever. I think that's what works for Vickery when he plays in the ruck a bit more, and he's not sitting up forward. He doesn't get followed the same way, and he's actually able to drift forward and do more damage like he did at the weekend. And I think that's how they have to play him, because when they play him up forward in a contested situation, he just gets smashed too easily sometimes.
And he gets in Revolt's way.
Not much else out of that game, honestly. It was terrible spectacle, and yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but it did show that Richmond does have the slightest of a heartbeat.
Well,
For what?
what do you mean?
Are you saying to make the finals?
I know there's a lot of teams dropping out.
No,
I don't think
I
it's going to
don't
be
think-
us.
Finals, but
To make ninth.
That's very possible.
they probably could make 9. Yeah.
We've started our run, timed it to perfection. But no, it was a crap game, and they missed a lot of scores, and we fucked up a lot of opportunities to score by too much handballing it to, not even giving a chance to score because they wouldn't kick it. It was just same old shit, indecisive, self-conscious, don't move it effectively, don't take risks. And Brisbane are just shit, and that's the reason we beat them, because we can play that way and beat a shit team. Yeah, they're just that bad. Same with St Kilda last week. We won't get close to Port.
We don't know that yet because Port is turning into a stumbling mess. So maybe, but I'm not going to bank on it, but maybe.
Last game was Crows beating the Giants quite comfortably. The only thing I took out of this game was the Giants kicked 10 behinds before they kicked the goal.
Great.
And Eddie Betts continues to do his job, but yeah, Crows are there.
Yeah, no surprises there. I mean, Adelaide were well expected to bash them, and they did.
Yeah, they're just sitting in a decent spot where they can go on with it. Anyway, I think that's all the games. Talking points. We'll start with the players on drugs that came out last week. The video of the doctor.
Well, that was very, very interesting, and it wasn't. He didn't expect to be filmed. Is this going to undermine the drug testing of Essendon? Can Essendon now use this to derail everything that's like out there and against them in the courts?
Bomber Thompson's certainly going to try it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to pay his fine, does he?
He wants his 30k back.
Yeah. Oh, you pauper.
Well, he'll have to roll doubles on the new Monopoly board and pass go a few times.
Admittedly, I know fuck all about the area, but the clause that they're disputing is there was a non-disparagement clause as opposed to a non-disclosure one. So that makes it sound as though they can't disparage him. But saying that there's a risk of cancer doesn't sound disparaging at all. It just sounds like facts.
Look, yeah, I mean, it looks like this guy is put things out in the public domain.
And he's a doctor as well.
And he's been recorded.
Just heard talking crap.
He knows about the area, Fyfie.
Yes, he knows about the area.
So this guy might have fucked everything up for Asada.
No. This has nothing to do with Asada. This is just the penalties the AFL imposed on Essendon. His comments are all within an isolated situation. They have no bearing on Asada. It's all what Essendon got punished for last year, the fines and the fines to Essendon, the fines to Hurd, the fines to Thompson, that were settled.
That video on YouTube only had like 6 views on it before it was known.
I heard that. That was funny.
Before it got taken down.
Yeah, from a legal perspective, if they can use what's happened in the public domain to derail the judgments or the rulings against them, then what happens then?
That I don't think they'll be able to get that on anything to do with Asada. It's just another. They're just trying to win the PR battle or hold ground in that. But the most interesting thing about that is that 3 players retired due to illicit drugs.
Who are they?
Forced retired. Who are they? Well,
Yeah,
I don't think. I think it would be rude to speculate, but I think Hadouken may have named one last week. He mentioned the name.
Being who?
Well, an ex-Injunction player.
Rocky Road.
Yeah. There's been a few bandied around on the main board. Ben Cousins could potentially be another. That makes.
Mark Robertson says that's not fair.
What, Robbo says that's not fair?
Yeah,
Robbo,
to play the guessing game.
Everyone deserves a whack, and Robbo got his last week.
He did too.
he got one from Suze. Has everyone seen the vlog?
My head exploded after watching that.
That was glorious, and Robbo was asked about it today. Has he seen it? And he said he's seen 10 seconds of it. So
I hear he's retiring because he's so mentally disturbed at how Sue's just cut him down.
There was no conscience there, was there? It was just so.
She was ruthless.
She just nailed him on. He's been casting too many dispersions, and
yes. I can understand how he'd be feeling.
He's got to he's got to lawyer up.
He's probably cuddling up in a corner, crying somewhere because of the
drowning his sorrows.
Drowning his sorrows because of the mental anguish that he'd be feeling.
He should consider himself lucky he's not a dog.
Do we dare ask why? Or?
Suze kidnaps and eats dogs.
Yeah, don't go there. Don't go there.
That's an entirely different topic.
Yeah.
Don't go there. You'll fire her up and she'll go and kidnap another.
She'll make a vlog about you.
And she'll take your dog.
Yeah, she'll take your dog.
And then you'll have to walk home.
Or your cat. and then you'll have to walk home somewhere.
Yeah. Anything else on Susie's
I said
debate for Robbo?
It was pretty scathing. But,
Yeah, it was big news. Even Big Footy News was tweeting it to him. Everyone was tweeting it to him. No wonder he
I
saw
hope
it.
Robbo's okay because he might not be good to go for TV tomorrow night on 360.
Oh no, it was very lucky. It was Thursday night. It would have come to his attention after 360. So he had a whole weekend to get over it and seek professional help. So at least Suze was, I guess, courteous and sympathetic and gave him some time to recover because, yeah. But anything else on the three players? It's just astounding, the AFL, and the injunction injuries, which there's rumours about Beams, there's rumours about Buddy. The AFL just sweeping it under the carpet. Like, we have confirmation of that now.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to be the ones because we know their background, we know their history as far as what they've been involved with, and then they've had these lengthy periods that they've been out of the game. So, 1 + 1 = 2. It's got to be them, doesn't it?
Yeah, people can probably work that out, but just interesting the AFL brushed it on the carpet. And we do have the top 5 other things the AFL are covering up. Number 5, teach.
The Victorian clubs invented the draft to fuck over Brisbane.
Number 4, Dan.
Our beloved Suze is really Brad Scott's cousin.
Number 3, NetworkNerd.
Yeah, the AFL is actually covering up the fact that our favourite poster boss is actually Caroline Wilson.
Explains all the links. It's just like Warner all over again. Number 2 is that Port's crowd numbers haven't actually increased. They just upgraded the bay covers to dummies. And number 1, NetworkNerd.
Well, the number one thing that the AFL is actually covering up is that the Saints umpire conspiracy is real. It's real, Plugger. You hear that? It's real.
Suck a fat one, Plugger, you
It's not just the neutrals on the main board, Plugger. But yeah, we will move on to, we'll go to Mick Melthouse because it seems to be a weekly thing now. Mick's melting about something. And
what's he complaining about now?
Free agency this time. It's creating 2-tiered clubs, and, it's ironic that a Carlton person is complaining about...
Well, he acquired Daisy Thomas through free agency. What's he to complain about?
I don't know.
I thought Carlton were a big club. Is that not true anymore?
Yeah, it's just astounding. Yeah, Mick's used free agency to get his favourite son over to kick the footy with him before a game, and Carlton have a history of just going out and being on the higher tier and going out and getting anyone, but all of a sudden, now that it's a level playing field for it, it's not okay.
Is he just grumpy because he didn't get the chance to warm up the barbecue over the weekend?
I think it stems back to last week when he was talking about the state of the game because he's sick of watching Carlton. I think Mick's just sick of football, sick of everything.
So free agency is shit unless you want to come to Carlton.
Basically, he's the old man yelling at the crowd, the cloud.
Stupid old silver-haired fox shithead.
That being said, maybe he's just a little bit angry because he got trolled pretty bad during the week. Did anyone catch this from Kevin Sheedy's tweet about Carlton Collingwood being terrible for the game?
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Bucks responded with the straight bat, a nice response. Sheeds just threw it out there that it was shit and they were ordinary, and Bucks responded with the Twitters where retired coaches go to die. Mick decided to melt.
Oh, well, Melthouse. We know that his name's Melthouse.
he got sooky about all kinds of things, and Sheedy just went, "Oh, this is great." He's on the line. He's responded with something along the lines of, "Malthouse has coached more losses than any other coach in AFL history." It's just, Buckley's modern enough to know that you just don't take the bait there, whereas Mad Mick...
I don't think we've had a Sheedy mentioning since the Wrangler has been on Fyfie.
Yeah, well, it's out of respect, clearly.
Mm.
Oh, well, there was as Fyfie posted out on the bay this afternoon, there was a Sheedy moment when he shook hands with that fucking idiot, the Geelong fucking mayor, who, guess what? his mohawk is no longer icy blue. It's fucking pink. What a fucking dipstick is it? And Shooty goes, oh, yeah, I'm together with Darren Lyons, the Geelong mayor, and everyone come up from Geelong to the GWS game. And that fat fucking idiot with the fucking pink mohawk, oh, Jesus.
That guy's an accurate representation of the city of Geelong, the Geelong Football Club, and all its supporters.
I agree.
That's
Network
why
Nerd,
I'll never live there again. I'll never live there again. Never. You know, if they can vote that fucking idiot in for a mayor, get fucked. I'm over it.
Would you ever shake his hand, Tej?
I'd pretend to shake his hand and then do a reverse karate kick and just fucking roundhouse him.
So violent. Just so
And
violent.
I'd just go, fatality, boom.
Clearly picked up that violent nature from Sniper Scarlet. And the last talking point was, well, we did touch on free agency and the inequality. St Kilda's blaming inequality for Ross Lyon leaving, that apparently Fremantle could pay him more money than them. I would have thought Lyon left because St Kilda's list was fucked.
That's why I thought he left.
Yeah.
I thought that he got a better deal out of Fremantle. It was like more money, and Ross was in the shit can when he was at Fremantle at St Kilda. He'd lost a shitload of cash in the stock market crash, and he needed more money, and St Kilda couldn't give it to him. And Fremantle offered him a bigger deal, more years, more money, and he just went.
So you're
no
basically
brainer.
agreeing with St Kilda there.
Yeah, probably.
I reckon he just was doing his list analysis at the end of the year, looked at the list and went, oh, fuck, our great hope is Reece Stanley, and fucked off to Fremantle.
No, it was all about money for Ross. It was all about money.
Mm.
Maybe the Pelican took a crap on his desk.
You can't blame him.
The Pelican
because
said, I'm going to trade for Jack Watts, and Lyon said, I'm out.
St Kilda couldn't pay him the money, but in the end...
But even if St Kilda paid the same money, would you stay? If St Kilda
No.
matched that, would you stay?
No.
You wouldn't.
No. Think about it. Seaford, Fremantle. Seaford, Fremantle.
No. It's Seaford or
Fremantle.
Seaford
Yes.
or Cockburn.
Now, have you guys been over there to Perth and to Fremantle?
To Cockburn. They're at
What?
Cockburn now.
Yeah, I've been over there. Have you been there?
No.
No, I've never.
Piece of shit out of Seaford.
But you're talking about Fremantle. Have you been to Cockburn where they are now?
No, I haven't had my cock burned, so no.
The Bay 13 Perthites seem to talk about it as though it is kind of a Seaford.
It's not. I mean, Fremantle and the south coast of Perth, my God.
But,
You know,
I've
you wanna
seen the
go-
map. Cockburn's not near Fremantle.
you want to take that over Seaford, you'd fucking take it every fucking day.
All right. Anyway, let's move on to this week on the Bay, which thread of the week, late mentioned, but I think we're unanimous.
Yep. Essendon
I think so.
Monopoly.
Essendon Monopoly. Ugak at his best again, just everything, the not convicted, the strategy at Old Kent Road. You have to read it. It's
funny, and you can actually contribute to it as well.
yes. And some of the contributions are great, particularly your one, Dan, you are 10, go directly to the Jet, which I'm sure the longer this goes on this season, the full story behind that one will come out, the truth will come out, and he won't be in a good place.
No.
Caro has written a negative article, call a press conference and release statement to members. It's really, really fantastic. So much detail in that. Some of the pieces, everything. So, yeah, not much else to say. Flog of the Week's a bit more competitive. Melt staff, as NetworkNerd mentioned, had a customary melt. Anyone else?
Atlee, maybe.
Atlee's been sluggish.
Atlee's been off his tits.
I want to nominate Leg End, the Sydney Muppet, who he's basically the Colas version of Atlee. So he's fixated on Victorians, which is just weird. But if you guys want Atlee, I'm for that. Atlee's been terrible this week.
Yeah, I want Atlee. Fuck him, dickhead.
Network Nerd, did you have anyone before we move
No,
on?
no, I've got Valley.
Yeah, he's never should have let that prick back. But he was annoying us, wasn't he, Teach?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, can you get any more annoying? Seriously.
Well, don't challenge him to be more annoying. And just on last week's poll, which AFL coach is most likely to post on Bay 13, 5.9% said Alistair Clarkson, 2.9% said Paul Roos, 8.8% said Ross Lyon, 20.6% said Bomber Thompson, 23.5% there's more chance of Jack Watts posting here than any coach, but the winner, with 38.2%, Susie's cousin Brad Scott.
Blue text.
Dead giveaway, that.
We should probably PM Suze just to get her to calm down, Brad.
As long as you send it in a PM, don't post to her, because she's only allowed to post 3 times a day.
Oh, okay.
And she's very frustrated about that.
Right. Okay.
Yes, but next week, look, there's 2 huge games this week, and the first one's Friday night, Adelaide Hawthorn, which who would have thought it a couple of weeks ago.
Ooh. What do you reckon, Network?
It's at the Crowville, where Adelaide, their record's pretty good. They're not like Port, they're not falling off
The Crowville.
cliff. Yeah, that's what they call it. Apparently.
We are going to struggle this week. Bets in
Why
good form.
are you going to struggle, Network?
Oh, the injuries, just playing the injuries.
Who's out and who's in?
Well, Lake's going to be out. He'll probably still be out.
I think so.
Out.
Yes.
Sewell's out, so... Yeah.
And Petrie's done the damage too, psychological damage.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
No finals.
Yeah.
We're usually good at containing bets. It's Carlton days, but Walker, Pods, we'll struggle.
Sounds like they'll be sending another Box Hill team to Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, look,
And sounds like someone's going to kick a bag on Clangers too.
we'll just claim, it's Box Hill, too many injuries, but really, we got to win this game, so it'll be a lot closer than people think, 50-50, but yeah.
Guarantee if Hawthorn lose this, there will be goo all over the bay from 2 particular supporter bases.
Oh, of course, Geelong.
Won't they just? Yeah.
Teachers mob, so you'll have the usual threads
And-
by, KUK.
Don't count me in with them. I mean, I'm not a Hawthorn hater.
Oh, nobody believes
It'll be the
that.
usual guys anyway that will start the threads, and that will probably drop out of the top 4 this week. But well.
Anyway, I reckon Hawthorn will win this.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
I reckon they will
Hawthorn.
too. I reckon they're just better, and they'll be a little bit motivated, a bit more motivated. Gunston was in ripping form last week.
He was,
and
sure.
I'm not sure the Crows will be able to contain him. He's a in-between type, and I think he'll play a big role.
I'll go Hawks by 4 points.
Adelaide are like North, but a little bit more schizophrenic. So they don't win the games that you think they're going to win. So Hawthorn is going to win this.
Next one, Melbourne versus Geelong at the G.
Cats.
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 Okay.
In case you didn't get that, that's going to win.
The most fascinating game in many ways
Oh.
is down at Blundstone Arena with Norf playing St Kilda.
Oh,
You just-
no, North easy. St Kilda are that shit. North,
I know.
I know.
North
Yeah,
cannot
But
lose to
North, it's like North are trolling. It's like North are trolling us this year. Like everyone who tips, they're trolling tips all year. They're looking at the tips because now they have the percentage of who's tipped who, and when they see that 90% of people have tipped them, they go. and then when they see only 10% have, they go, all right, time to turn up and play. We've got a chip on the shoulder to.
Is this some sort of payback for the LOL North from last year? Because
It
No,
must be, yes.
must be all these amateur tipsters, they laughed at us. So, we'll get them back by
Yeah,
stuffing
we're
up
gonna
their
fuck 'em
tips.
Basically, yeah. Anyway, are we all on North despite?
Yeah.
Well,
A
St
risk.
Kilda, if they want to play
Yes.
if they want to play finals this year, they just have to put everyone on Drew Petrie. The result doesn't matter if they want to play finals.
Yeah, St Kilda are so shit. Petrie still kick for.
Well, it's not guaranteed.
Well, as long
It's
as no one
St Kilda.
angles them.
Yeah, I'll tip North barely. I don't know. There's just no confidence.
Yeah, like you should
North's
be
quite-
absolutely confident, but
St Kilda is shit,
But it's but it's North.
It's Norf. It's irrelevant how shit they are. It's Norf.
It's
Anyway.
North.
Are we all tipping North? But everyone but teachers pretty apprehensive.
Yeah, North for sure.
Well, if I jumpstart the bandwagon and get some people alive, you know.
Hang on. What will you do to it if North lose?
He'll jump
What
off
will I
again.
do if North lose?
Yeah, what will you do to the wagon?
Nuclear bomb.
No, what I'll do is I'll march around the back of the bandwagon and I'll just knife everyone in the neck and kill them.
But you just revived them.
He'll give the keys to Mr. Aaron.
I mean, it's just the humane thing to do. It's just I'll just kill them humanely, knife in the neck.
He'll dress it like the fucking, and I'm taking this because of Network Nerd's avatar, which is Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. He'll take like the dog van in Dumb and Dumber and he'll go and park it in Suze's backyard, and that'll be the last we see of it. But yeah, we'll move on to another game played north of Brisbane in what'll be humid conditions, which might actually make it a bit more interesting. Gold Coast Bulldogs. Gold Coast probably should win on form, but
ooh, yeah.
no Ablett.
This is a very interesting
Should be
game.
a close game. Conditions up there have been bad every time. Either wind or
It's in
humidity.
Cairns, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Cairns.
That's Go-Griff territory, isn't it? Isn't he up in Cairns?
He is, yes.
Well, he'll either be there or he'll be at home trolling north. So
I'm tipping the Gold Coast. I think they'll win this easily.
I think Gold Coast will win. Griffey will be torn, though, because North are finishing just before that game's due to start, so he'd want to have a TV handy to, watch his favourite team, North, before he watches the Bulldogs, his second favourite.
I actually reckon the Bulldogs might win this. Without Ablett, I think the Gold Coast are just starting to hit the wall, and they're going to, and the Bulldogs have been great for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
Hashtag change tip.
Yeah, I was thinking you would change it.
I'm actually leading my tipping competition by 8.
Goo. That's Geelong goo.
And if I was tipping on either the Herald Sun or the Age tipping competition, I'd be ahead of everyone. I'm up to 105.
What does the winner get in your comp, Teach?
We all pay each other $100.
It doesn't matter because in his comp you're allowed to change your tip whenever the fuck you want, even at half time, like old V Bulletin.
No, you can't change it before the start of the game. But I reckon the Bulldogs are going to win this.
Anyway, Brian's hosting West Coast. Look, West Coast forward line's shit, but having watched the Browns this week, they can't kick goals unless the small forwards get going, and how often does that happen for you?
This is a really tough game.
I'm on West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast.
I'll go the Bryans at home.
yeah, Brisbane as well.
Sydney Carlton at the SCG. Well, Carlton won by 85 points. I think they're going to get...
Do we even need to talk about this?
I think we're going to see the exact same turnaround. There will be 170
You talk
points
about
turnaround.
us, Geelong 110. This is going to fucking eclipse that massively.
Buddy to go more than 13.
It's funny, last year,
Yeah. Sydney by a country mile.
this is a repeat of last year's semi-final, and just look at where each club's gone since then. So, Sydney by
Absolute smash.
110.
Yeah, Colas easily.
Easy win for Colas. Richmond Port at Etihad. Porter on the back of 2 losses, but we're not that. We'll get found out this week bad. We won't win.
If it was at the MCG, Richmond would have a chance, but I don't think they play Etihad that well. What's the record like, Fyfie?
Don't think it's great. No. No.
I thought.
Yeah, Port.
I'm thinking that that Port have hit the wall. So I'm going Richmond in the sneaky. I reckon Richmond can get over them.
Will you be going, Fyfie?
Yeah.
You have to think about it.
Yeah, I had to think about it. No. Look, I'll go to see just how we play, just to see, you kind of have to watch, I guess, and just, we've won 2 in a row just to see if they're actually starting to get it a little bit. The season's over, but fuck it, you got to try some new things, see if they're doing that. That's about the only reason to watch.
I reckon they'll get up. I reckon they'll get up, the Tigers.
I'm not confident. the other huge game this week is Collingwood versus the Scum. Which,
Oh, this is a massive game.
yeah. And last time Anzac Day was hilarious with the 6-goal lead given up by the Scum. Yeah, so
I'm picking the Scum.
I'm on Collingwood, but oh geez, they'd want to turn up this week because they have a habit of not turning up. If their midfield doesn't perform, they struggle. They've got to win the midfield battle.
Essendon for me. I think Essendon are going to roll them. I think Collingwood are done.
NetworkNerd.
Nah, I'll go Collingwood myself.
And the last game, well, I don't think we care.
I'm not tipping.
Fremantle GWS at Patterson's. Fremantle will win.
Go.
No one will watch it.
We don't need to tip this. We all know what's going to happen.
No one should tip this game.
Nah, well,
Yeah.
let's take a step back. You've got a side that doesn't want to score in Fremantle, then you got a side that can't score in GWS, so you never know.
Are you suggesting a soccer scoreline or?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not going to watch a second of this game because it will be a
No,
stranglehold and just ridiculous score fest for Fremantle. And I reckon GWS will be lucky to kick a goal, and Fremantle will probably kick 6 goals.
Okay, maybe it's because our season is over, and that's part of the mentality here. But I watched a standard of football on the Saturday that was, the spectacle was Fremantle-esque. And as soon as we won that game, I didn't want to think about it again. Like, how do Fremantle supporters do this every week?
And
I don't get it.
They defend it.
I just don't get how you can, if that was my team, I'd be like Susan, wouldn't go to games.
Ross Lyon's track record at grand finals says it all, really. I mean, it's not going to get it done when it matters.
And he'll fuck off for more money later.
Yeah.
Who's richer than Fremantle? West Coast.
I mean, yeah, it's disgraceful football, and it doesn't win when it really, really counts. So,
And it'll be hilarious if that happens again this year.
well, it looks like it's going to happen again. It
They
looks
look like they're going to
it's
get
gonna be a
deep. They look like they're going to go deep.
final. And if it doesn't work again, then what? I mean,
Or to a
hopefully,
new club.
hopefully they fuck this guy off to Neverland, where he can never coach again.
Anyway, is that everything?
I think so.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Sounds like it.
Alright, so yeah, this was the vlogcast for round 17. Fyfie joined by NetworkNerd,
Good night, guys.
Dan,
See ya.
and Teach.
Au revoir.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you all next week.